In 1666, London was a dense, highly combustible maze of medieval timber. In a matter of days, the Great Fire turned that sprawling tinderbox into a mountain of ash. The devastation was absolute. Thousands of homes burned to the ground, and the ancient street layout was essentially erased. The fire created a massive, smoldering vacuum right where the capital used to be. Looking at this chart of historical city density, you can clearly see the sharp drop-off caused by the fire. But look at how aggressively it bounces back. By the mid-1700s, that empty canvas had exploded into a booming metropolis of over 500,000 people. How did a ruined, burnt-out town manage to pull off that kind of recovery and position itself to dominate global commerce? Reconstruction efforts prioritized a strategic new layout over a simple restoration of the ruins. Architects and planners designed a city specifically optimized for the capture and processing of wealth. That machine was powered by the River Thames. The river operated as a massive, highly trafficked highway, teeming with merchant ships dragging raw goods from the British Empire directly into the city. Because of this volume of incoming trade, legacy medieval infrastructure was stretched to its absolute limits. Structures like the Old London Bridge acted as crowded commercial bottlenecks, packed tight with houses and shops stacked precariously on top of its ancient stone arches. To manage and navigate this maritime dominance, the city utilized Greenwich Park. It quickly developed into the empire's scientific nerve center, the exact coordinate that would eventually be selected as the prime meridian, acting as the baseline for all global longitude. Greenwich served as the primary gateway for maritime trade. From this elevated position above the Queen's House and Naval Hospital, officials could closely survey every vessel making the final approach to the capital. Further upriver, the 700-year-old Tower of London loomed over the water. Originally built as a Norman fortress, by the 1700s it was operating as a multi-purpose tool of state control, housing the Royal Mint, the Crown Jewels, and the city's armory. Its imposing stone walls also served a darker secondary function. This direct waterfront access point, known as Traitors' Gate, acted as the formidable main entrance for political prisoners arriving by barge, perfectly visible to the passing trade ships. By treating the Thames as a closely monitored, heavily fortified artery, London effectively transitioned from an isolated island capital into the most secure and active port in the world. Physical cargo sitting on docks doesn't automatically equal wealth. All those raw goods arriving from the river required a specialized mechanism to convert them into usable capital. Enter the Royal Exchange. Built in the center of the city, this was England's first purpose-built trading center, effectively writing the operating manual for the modern stock exchange. Twice a day, its open-air courtyard erupted into total chaos. Picture deals being shouted in a dozen different languages, the constant rustle of paper bills of exchange, and merchants laying the groundwork for massive insurance operations like Lloyd's of London, right from the gallery floors. Once that global wealth was converted to capital, it flowed straight down Cheapside. This wide avenue was packed with expensive retail premises, where merchants sold luxury imports like silks and spices to a booming upper class. It was also the cultural epicenter for the working class, who kept the whole system running. Anyone born within the sound of the bells of St. Mary Le Bow, rising right above Cheapside, earned the proud title of a true Cockney. By hyper-concentrating high-end retail, insurance markets, and trading floors into a single walkable footprint, Georgian London successfully built the prototype for the modern financial district. Curious, what happens to a society's elite when their city is suddenly flooded with concentrated commercial wealth? You look to the West End. Areas like St. James's Square became the ultimate residential prize. Royal gardeners terraformed what had been muddy, neglected fields into rigid, highly manicured hubs reserved strictly for dukes and prime ministers. This influx of money created a market for status symbols. In nearby Leicester Square, the aristocracy clamored to commission art that projected their newfound global power. Artistic geniuses recognized the demand and capitalized on it. Painters like Sir Joshua Reynolds established grand portrait studios in these squares, capturing the rich fabrics and confident posture of London's growing upper class. These elegant, paved developments provided physical signs of a social hierarchy that was being reshaped and reinforced by the sudden influx of commercial wealth. Over the course of the 18th century, a ruined medieval city managed to rebuild, optimize its geography, and engineer the financial machinery necessary to become a global superpower. As this map shows, the financial systems developed in places like the Royal Exchange didn't stay local. They were exported outward along British trade routes, eventually replicated in forming markets from New York to Hong Kong. The Georgian innovations crafted in the ashes of the Great Fire established the structures we now recognize as Wall Street, Oxford Street, and the exclusive residential enclaves of today. In these reconstructed streets, we see the transition from a medieval trade hub into the structured financial engine that still defines urban life today.